Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to this Man United Agenda preview for Manchester United versus Brentford in the Premier League. Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Man United Agenda. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Rebels on the show, and we're not talking about the takeover. Hallelujah. But I want to say hello to Dan. You're very welcome back onto the channel. Dan, as a United fan, do you feel you need nearly a business degree, an economics degree, a legal degree to actually decipher what's going on in our club?
Not really. I'm just a passionate fan that actually has some common sense, and I can actually see the overall view about what actually is wrong at Manchester United when we have executives and all sorts of different people in the club that just need to go because they don't have a clue about football.
Very true, very true. And Colm, as always, you're very, very welcome. We do have a bit of housekeeping to take care of. We are, of course, now got a merch store where you can get wonderful mugs such as this. I've got the Butcher on my one, Mr. Martinez. If you go to the website there on your screen, https://the-man-united-agenda.square.site/ you will be able to order one for yourself. And of course, we are doing currently Team Rebel, which is the Butcher mugs versus Team OMONDI, who's got the slaphead Harry Maguire sitting on his. But we will be discussing who has sold the most mugs at the end of the season. And myself and Conor are also part of our sister channel, the parent channel of the Man United Agenda. It's called Full Time Sports Network. Please do give a like, share, and subscribe to them as well if you have the time. But we have a partnership with Wraith. It's a powdered energy drink, which is a healthier alternative to your Monsters and all those other lovely off-the-shelf drinks. Code FTSN22 gets you 10% off any order on Wraith. So thank you to the Man United Agenda merch store and Wraith for their partnerships. But gentlemen, we are getting back down to business. Manchester United are back in Premier League action tomorrow against Brentford. And as of late, we have been suffering a bit of a goal shortage. Our goal scorer-in-chief, Marcus Rashford, has had his goals dry up a bit, but that is to be expected when you have the weight of expectation of goals on a single player. An obvious candidate, should he remain fit, to take on some of that goal-scoring burden is Anthony Martial. How necessary, Dan, is it for Martial to come into that team and literally hit the back of the net tomorrow?
Well, I am expecting Martial to play, and I think that we can all agree that when he came on for the Newcastle game as a substitution, he looked far better than what Vegas has the entire time he's been here on loan. Like, his build-up play was good. He had at least 2 shots that did get blocks, but he had that eye for goal. He looked like a threat. So for me, I think that it's actually crucial because I've always believed that Antony and Rashford are the perfect wingers for us because Antony, whether you like him or not, some people call him the flop of the season. Some people really like him. I'm one of them people that do really like him. But I think that considering he's our only left-footed attacker, he brings a lot of balance to that front three. And with Martial being the link-up player that he is, where he always keeps at least 2 defenders busy, because they're scared that obviously people say, why does Martial not make getting behind runs? Because that's Anthony and Marcus Rashford's job. He's mainly stays on the edge of the box and then runs in for a cross if needs be, or runs in for link-up play. But he's the guy that normally helps out in the midfield and hitting it out wide because he's just brilliant. And I don't think that Martial's ever really been a threatening goal scorer like a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen. But I do think that he's very crucial, and Erik ten Hag really likes him. I do think he's a massive part of this piece in Erik ten Hag's formation.
Absolutely. So 6th in the chat, please do give us a like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate it. But continuing on that vein, Colm, outside of Martial, where do we need to see our goal threats coming back? Because obviously, it looks like Rashford probably needs a rest. He looks like he was carrying a knock the last day.
Well, yeah. if you look at it, really, we need Anthony to chip in with a few goals. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Anthony. Everybody knows I am. I even came on the stream. I dyed my hair like him, even because I do like Anthony, even though it was a comment that I put in the chat and you made me do it. But Bruno has to start scoring again, and people like Sabitzer, Fred. It's got to come from everywhere on the pitch. Even if the defenders can chip a goal or two, and it all helps and it lifts the weight off of Rashford. I'm hoping that we do see Martial tomorrow, because I've noticed in the last couple of games people have clicked on to Weghorst. They know he's not quick, which means that their defence can sit in the halfway line. Because what are we going to do? We can't play the ball long to him because he's terrible in the air. He's 6'6" and he can't do anything in the air. So he's going to get out. He's going to get beat every single time in the air if we play the ball long. And we can't put a ball further than that halfway line because he's not quick enough. So he's going to get beat for pace. So Martial needs to play tomorrow just to give us that little bit more of a threat. I think you muted.
I think you muted, Paul.
My apologies. I had the mute on the button pushed. But Dan, you've done a bit of work on Brentford and some of the threats that they pose. So do you want to share that with the viewers?
Yeah, so I'd say the main 3 to 4 threats for Brentford are probably, as we know, obviously Ivan Toney, who is obviously their main talisman. He's their target man, and he helps, and he mainly does direct free kicks and their penalties. Then you've got their getting behind forward, which is Mbeumo, who is a very fast winger. And I think that he will be targeting Luke Shaw if he plays, because I personally at the moment think Luke Shaw should be dropped, because I just think right now he's not playing well enough and he's getting too far forward and not having the pace to get back. So you saw that against Newcastle, they definitely targeted him with Trippier and Murphy. But Mbeumo is very quick, and I do think that if Thomas Frank does play Mbeumo on Luke Shaw's side, then Luke Shaw will have a very tough game, and that might be where majority of the goals come from Mbeumo's side. And then Janssen, who is their midfielder, who's become their playmaker, their set piece taker. He takes all their throw-ins, all their corners, and he's really stepped up since Brentford lost Christian Eriksen to us in the summer. So yeah, Jensen is a real good player, and I'd say that he can just split a defence open at any moment in time. He's got that killer, like low-driven pass that can really catch out defenders. And then obviously we have David Raya, a player that some United fans want as United's goalkeeper next season, and obviously we know how good his distribution is, playing out for the back. Brentford's standard formation is normally a 4-3-3 formation, but when they're building up in possession, they normally go to a 2-4-3-1. So they obviously have the two defenders. Their fullbacks almost become wide midfielders, and then Jensen is that one number 10, and then they're 3 forwards, which is a very tough way to defend against, because they're relentless, as we know this season, because they're doing very well and they're in top half of the table.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Dan. And just mentioning Eriksen, I read a report today that they're hoping that he might be actually back along with Casemiro after the Everton game. Do you think it's very likely that he would be brought back slowly? Because obviously he's missed a large chunk of time from a rather significant injury.
Yeah, I would honestly say so. I'd say that it'd be like Martial. I'd say that he'd probably have 1 or 2 games off the bench and then be brought back in, because like Colm said about Bruno Fernandes needs to start scoring again. I think that's because Eriksen's not on the pitch, because we see that Eriksen normally does the deep line playmaking for the forwards and Bruno Fernandes, but Bruno Fernandes is having to take the ball off both Fred and McTominay or Sabitzer, whoever's playing, and he's having to do all the playmaking by himself. Like, I'm a bit controversial with Christian Eriksen. I do think he's very overhyped in our fan base, and I do think he's a defensive liability, but I've never discredited the way his playmaking abilities are. I do think, though, that now we have Sabitzer in the team as well, he can play where Eriksen played, and if Bruno Fernandes needs a rest or needs dropping, then Eriksen plays that 10 like he did for Spurs and Inter Milan and even Brentford.
Thanks very much. Now, Colm, it is at that point of the show where we need to check in with our wonderful viewers. And just ahead of time, I am going to ask you to start plowing your score predictions into the chat so that we have them for the end of the show. But Colm, take it away.
Yeah, we have a HD game here saying I'll give you a few players I'd start versus Brentford. He's saying Fred for Scott McTominay, Palestri for Weghorst, Rashford, CF, and Martial on the bench. I just want to say hello to Bilal and also to Eddie. Saying evening everybody, tomorrow night put McTominay back on the train to Dundee, single ticket, and get Fred back onto the pitch. I'm saying this in a it's a recurring theme, people are wanting Fred. Jeff saying big up Rebel, MUFC Realist TV, saying keep the hopes up like a rubber ball, we'll bounce back. So big up to Niall, Jeff again saying Brentford front three salivating looking at the last match. What else we got here? Mr. B as well. How you doing, Mr. B? Bilal saying let's sign Ivan Toney. I bet he'll do well for us. And Emma K, hello. Not gonna lie, but this lineup kind of looks like a father with his two sons.
Are you saying I'm old, Emma? Come on now.
You know what the thing is I'm probably not even old enough to be his dad. It's his first time I've been told I look old.
But gentlemen, it is getting to that stage where we need to look at the famous Solo 11. He has now been spending time crafting on his stone tablet the names that he thinks should start for Manchester United tomorrow. And as of late, he has been getting a little bit better at predicting those lineups. But let's get a look at what he has in store for us today. So Solo is saying David De Gea in goal, Luki Shaw, Martinez, Varane, and Dalot, Fred and Sabitzer, Rashi, Bruno, Anthony, and leading the line, Martial. So Dan, I'm going to start with you. Anybody you disagree with in Solo's team?
No, I agree with that team. That's the team that I went for as well on my channel. And I just personally think that because Brentford don't normally target aerial type challenges, I'd say that we don't really need a lot of height in this type of game. We need a bit more of a mobile midfield, which is what it seems that Solo's gone for. So having Fred and Sabitzer in there will help. It'll just be, obviously, it's just that worry of not having enough defensive players. I just hope that Bruno stays forward in this game, because against Newcastle, I don't know why he was playing as a 6. He just wasn't physical enough, and at least Fred and Sabitzer try and put a tackle in. Obviously, I don't discredit Bruno, but he was played out of position against Newcastle, and I don't want that to happen against Brentford tomorrow night.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, Colm brings Solo back down to earth because his head is getting bigger and bigger after hearing a complete and 100% agreement from Dan. So, can you bring him down to earth for us?
You know what? I don't think I can, to be honest with you. That's probably the team that I would pick. Obviously, there's a comment here by HD Gamer saying obviously maybe Wan-Bissaka for Dalot, but I kind of see why Solo's gone for Dalot, because we're at home and Dalot offers a bit more of an attacking prowess than what Wan-Bissaka does. I think Wan-Bissaka's more of an away right back than a home right back. We need to be on the front foot. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I said it before. I wouldn't mind seeing Zidane get into the team, but I'm not going to pick fault with Fred and Sabitzer. I think they'll do well together. It gives us the energy that we need in the midfield.
Interesting. Now, Jeff is coming in with a comment about Sabitzer. Apparently, he was seen limping off in the last 20 minutes. Does that fill you with concern that we might be seeing the return of McFred?
Honestly, if Sabitzer is injured and I see McFred on that pitch, my TV will be getting thrown out of the closest window, because I cannot stand to see that combination once more in a United shirt ever again.
Dan, I presume, judging from your facial reaction, you feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, McTominay. I think he just performed himself. I mean, I don't want McFred to return. It was painful under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I just don't understand this hype around Scott McTominay. dreadful. I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. He's not the best, is he? He's just tall. He's literally Wout Weghorst in midfield. Like, it brings absolutely nothing and is just tall. But yeah, for me, Scott McTominay might be a likable guy, but for me, he's not good enough. And I would honestly rather probably get what's his name? What's our youth kid called that who played at CDM? Mainu, that's it. Yeah, I'd rather have Mainu over Scott McTominay, to be honest.
And then Emma Kay, one of our wonderful contributors that's with us for quite some time, she's saying, Shaw out, Malacia in. Any comments on that?
I'd honestly, I've already said, I'd rather Luke Shaw be dropped, and I would be giving Malacia a run out, but I think that with this predicted 11, it is going to be Shaw. And if I was picking this team, I would go for Malacia, a bit more pace, and plus Shaw needs dropping. And if Wan-Bissaka is available, I would go for him over Dalot, because again, I don't think Dalot's been the same since before the World Cup. So I just think that since the World Cup's ended, Dalot has struggled for form, and Wan-Bissaka's come in and really done well to keep him out of the team. But obviously, apparently he was ill against Newcastle on Sunday, so I doubt he'll be available. He might be on the bench, but yeah, if both play, if it was up to me, I would change both fullbacks. But I do think that predicted 11 is going to be correct.
Some interesting comments there about McTominay. HD Gamer saying he's a lamppost in midfield trying to win headers. Matty Bassett is saying anyone over McTominay. Maybe we could hire the Liverpool beach ball from a couple of seasons back.
OMONDI plays CDM, doesn't he?
No, he's a centre back, I think. But I think
it's good enough. It's good enough.
Close enough, indeed. But there was a comment from somebody that thought yourself and Cullen were brothers.
Yeah, I saw that comment. I did see that comment as well. We are not related in any way.
Actually,
not related anyway.
It may. Go on.
Yeah, an interesting one for you. How would you feel if he put Shaw at centre back, Malacia at left back, and Martinez at CDM?
The interesting thing here, and I'm going to put this one to Dan, is he hasn't played Martinez in the CDM role all year, so I don't expect him to start doing it now. I'd imagine, like, at the end of the day, it's more likely that he put Lindelof in there, because he has put Lindelof there before, but I don't see him putting Martinez in there at this juncture. It's too late in the season.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest, as well. I'd think that he's not experimented with Martinez anyway. I mean, I went to the game when we played Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and he did bring Lindelof on for about 20 minutes and did experiment that CDM role. So if anyone was to be a more defensive player, I do think it would be Lindelof, but I would say Martinez probably would be a solid holding midfielder, but I just think that the partnership between Varane and Martinez just can't be messed about with. So if anyone was to come in for that CDM role, it would be Lindelof or Martinez, in my opinion.
Very true, very true. Now, there is 9 of you in the chat. I am going to remind you one more time of our merch store. The website is there on the chat, and I'm going to leave that up there for a few minutes so you have a chance, but it is score prediction time. I do see 10 of you in the chat, so I do want to see 10 score predictions, but I am going to come to you first, Dan. How do you feel tomorrow will go?
I think that if United start off well, then I will go for a 2-1 victory for Manchester United, but if we start off the way we did against Newcastle, where we were passing it about slowly, De Gea was taking way too much time on the ball for the goal kicks and stuff, I do think it could be another result like Newcastle's, which would be unfortunate because we do need a win. But for me, I do think that if we start off strong, which I think Erik ten Hag will probably be demanding from his players, then I do think it'll be a 2-1 victory for Manchester United.
And Colin?
Yeah, it all depends what United turns up, I suppose. We're at home, so that's an advantage. Looking at previous results we've had against, I'm gonna go 3-1 United. 3-1
United. Now in the chat we do have a few, and then I'll give mine to wrap up and end the show. Kalo is saying 5-2 to Brentford. we had he also said 3-2 to Brentford earlier on, but I'm not sure which one he's going for. Any other score predictions there come that you can see at all?
No, not many people have actually put them in. So get them in quickly. Come on. The winner closest to result, I'll buy you a tub of Rafe.
There you go. It's out there now. There's a free tub of rate on the line. I'm going to say 1-0 to Manchester United because I think we are low on goals. So I think it could be kind of a cagey affair. So 1-0 to Manchester United. Ed Mayhem 3-1 to United. Matty Bassett 2-1 to United. And Jeff Vegas is 3-1 to United. Fair play to everyone there. Now, Dan, we are going to put you up on the big screen, so let everybody know where they can find you, what your handles are on socials, etc.
So my YouTube channel is called Red Devils TV. I do daily content about Manchester United, and yes, if you could subscribe if you haven't tuned into my channel already, then that'd be much appreciated. And you can find me on Twitter, which is Red Devils TV MUFC, all one word. And if you could give me a follow as well, that'd be really appreciated as well. Thank you.
Cheers, Dan. And there's one late entry into the score predictions. Simon Davies, 2-2, he's saying. So he's gone for a draw. I want to thank everyone that joined us here in the chat for their participation throughout the show. Please do continue to like, share, and subscribe and show us some support. And also, if you can, please do head over to Dan's channel and show him a bit of support. Also, Emma Kay coming definitely in the 11th hour with a 2-0 to United. Fair play, Emma. Thanks very much for your contribution. But I am going to sign off on that note. Please do enjoy the football this evening. But this has been the Man United Agenda, and we will see you tomorrow.